Hey folks, we're now going to take a look at internal controls, and we want to understand a little bit more about them before we actually try our exercise. In this particular item, I'd like to remind you of crime. It's a crime not to have a good system of internal control. We start with the foundation. Remember our little pyramid that we had? We have the control environment at the bottom. That's the foundation, the tone at the top, that they will not tolerate anything but doing things correctly and accurately and honestly. No lying, no cheating, no stealing should ever go on. Then we assess where is the chances of those lying, cheating, and stealing occurring. That's your risk assessment. That's the R. Then the next layer up was established controls, right? Internal controls are established. That's the existing controls. And that will either prevent or detect. And then the pyramid, the top of it is the M. The M for monitor. Make sure that those controls are still present and that they're functioning as they were supposed to. And up and down the pyramid was information and communication. So you can see we have the control environment, sets the tone. We identify places where lying, cheating, and stealing could occur. I'm going to jump down and then go to the existing controls are set up to prevent or detect. Right then after that, we capstone it with the M. That's the process of making sure those controls are still present and that they're still functioning the way they're designed. And then the information and communication system support identifying, capturing, and exchanging information in a timely and useful manner. Well, I see I have become like James Bond, or maybe the Pink Panther. I'm not sure which one of the two I should be using right now. If it's James Bond, I'd put the gun right there. If it's the Pink Panther, I'd probably trip over myself. But let's take a look as I'm going to investigate to see if there's any crime. All right, we're going to move on. Look at this. I'm walking in and I'm going to, oh, by the way, old granddad. That does look like Mr. Olinto, doesn't it? Anyway, moving on. I go in, I'm going to investigate. Let's go in and I'm going to take notes. Like a good investigator, I'm going to ask questions. So we got some information from him. We got the information that we have the board of directors and that the internal auditors, and there are two of them, they report directly to the board. The board, of course, hires the president, the chief accounting officer, the treasurer, the controller, and of course, everybody beneath them. Notice the letter C, the organizational structure supports the control environment, the tone at the top. There's a clear line of reporting and who reports to them. We have evidence of a code of ethics that also supports this control environment. In addition, management has a whistleblower line that allows employees to communicate any unethical behavior they see. You'll note right here, we've got a couple of items that we can point out. Number one is accounting department may be able to both steal and conceal. The theft, of course, because they're going to be doing it, they record the assets and expenditures. Number two, new accounting standards may also impede some of the items and the implementation. Was it done correctly? And then number three, cotton may, in this particular case, may become scarce in making the clothes, and that could put excessive pressure on them. So let's go into the crime in the R. Management performs a risk assessment. Where could lying, cheating, stealing occur? And the risk assessment includes identification and analysis of risks of lying, cheating, and stealing. This assessment helps meet management objectives, that the financials are recorded correctly. Once we determine where lying, cheating, and stealing could occur, we create existing controls that will either prevent or detect and correct it quickly. So Creative CPA Clothing has already addressed the risks identified during the risk assessment process by implementing good controls that will hopefully either prevent bad things from happening, lying, cheating, and stealing, or detect them quickly and correct them. Of course, we have the information and communication that goes on. They consider the accounting system and the information system when addressing new accounting guidance. It's important that accounting information systems properly record transactions. And then, of course, management creates an internal control function, right? That was the existing controls. But just because you have controls doesn't mean they're still present and functioning. People could have forgotten about them. They override them. They ignore them. So management created an internal audit function to monitor existing controls. That's your internal auditors. They're monitoring it. That provide an evaluation of it, including strengths and weaknesses. They also take appropriate actions for control deficiencies. So in this case, what we've seen in this case is that the organization meets the solid framework of COSO, the Committee of Sponsoring Organizations, and has the framework to ultimately rely upon. So we have all of the crime elements, so we're in good shape and we can rely on the system. That means we can reduce the risk assessment to a slightly lower level. Hopefully that helps. We're ready to try some extra problems.